Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. I hope everything is good for you. Last week we were at Gen Con in Indianapolis, and before I left, I asked you to give me some ideas for videos I could do from there, and one of those was go to the indie area. They have a section of the hall that's kind of like for new publishers, and find something to show us, a hidden gem. And the game that I found is this one. This is called Truck Off. Now, I will admit, the reason I was drawn to this game is 90% the name, and the other 10% was the artwork. It looks fabulous, and this game is by the designer is Ryan Lambert, but the publisher was Adam's Apple Games, and I met Adam. Adam's the one that you're going to see here in a second show us how to play the game, and he was a great dude. And he told me that this artwork on here, on this whole game, was done by a guy. This is literally papercraft artwork. Like, this isn't drawn. He cuts pieces of paper and then photographs it. So that is extremely fascinating to me. But I'm just going to show you my little video I did here with Adam, and then I'll come back and tell you more about the game.
Right.
Tell me about Truck Off.
Truck Off, the food truck frenzy here. You got a series of 6 food trucks that you are setting up in different venues across the city. Each food truck has a number and an icon on the back of it. Corresponds to a venue. Each venue has a die. Gaming Con has a D20, River has a D4, and so it goes a high-sided die down to a low-sided die. You're selecting 2 food trucks each round, you're flipping them, you're placing them where you said you were going to select it. This is a sporting event, this is the Food Truck Expo. Everyone has their food trucks out here now. Now every dice is rolled, so now you had a bunch of randomness happen. Just because 20 people could come to the Gaming Con doesn't mean 20 people actually came to the Gaming Con. We rolled a fat 3 this time. Now each player has a set of 10 action cards, alright? You're going to be playing your action cards to mitigate the randomness, playing one at a time in a clockwise manner. The action cards are things like re-rolling a die, moving another player's truck, moving your truck, shutting a truck down, or even shutting a venue down. So you're trying to better your results, worsen other people's results. At the end of the day, we are splitting the value on the die. Let's say we had 4 at the concert evenly between the 2 food trucks that showed up. So they get paid out 2 each. At the end of 5 rounds, winner is the player with the most money.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Alright, that was Adam. Adam was a genuinely cool dude. Came by our booth later on after I stopped by and filmed him, and wanted to say thanks for stopping by. So thanks, Adam, for giving us the rundown. So the game at its core is quite simple, as Adam depicted. You have 6 venues, venue tiles here, and these you'll use a number of these based on the number of players. So say in a 3-player game, you're going to use 4 of these, the 8, 10, 20, and 12. So you're going to get rid of the 6 and 4. And what those numbers mean is they correspond to standard polyhedral dice. Is that what they're called? So we're going to need the 8, the 10, the 12, and the 20 for a 3-player game. So there's always going to be, essentially, there will always be at least 4 of these things. You can play up to 6 players, and up to 6 players are going to use all 6 trucks. So there you go. You're going to set these out. I guess it really doesn't matter whether you put these in order or not, but for those of us who are anal like that, you might want to put them in ascending or descending order. So what these venues are, they represent your chances to get customers. So at the Gaming Con, for instance, you have a D20. In the Food Truck Expo, you've got an 8. So I guess there's more people at the Gaming Con or something like that. In addition to that, every player will take their bag of action cards and the food trucks that correspond to the locations that you currently have in play. On the front, the food trucks will have just your icon, and on the backs, you will see that they have numbers according to the location. So in this particular setup, we are going to use the 20, the 12, the 10, and the 8, and the rest can go back in the box. After that, everybody's going to take their action cards, and all the actions are the same except for the menu items are thematically named, and you're going to choose to remove 2 of these. You have a couple of options. You can choose to remove 2 that are suggested by the rules for lowering the amount of take that, you can remove 2 that increase the amount of take that, or you can just remove 2 at random. So essentially, one player is going to pick 2 to remove, and then, if you do the random setup, one player is going to pick 2 to remove, and then everybody else will pick 2. The player that has most recently eaten at a food truck receives the first player token, and you're ready to play. That's the entire setup. So what you're going to be doing each round is you're going to select 2 locations to place your food truck in secret. So you're going to place them face down on the table in front of you, and then all at the same time we're going to reveal our food trucks and place them where they go. After placing the trucks, you're going to roll each die on the venues where trucks were placed, and this is going to represent the payout that you receive for that location. After that, everybody looks at their hands and will simultaneously choose a number of action cards to play. You could choose to play none of them, you could choose to play all of them, but any action cards that you play this round are not going to be available for future rounds. So whatever you put face down on the table in front of you, you're committed to. Now, once you've done that, we're going to go one at a time around the table, starting with the first player, and resolve one action. You don't have to execute the action, you just have to reveal and play it. You can just discard it if you want to. But essentially, these are going to allow you to do all sorts of things. Maybe it's going to allow you to re-roll one of the dice, or place another truck at that location, or even double your truck's payout. Regardless, all those cards that you have played are no longer available. After every player has played their action cards, you're going to receive money tokens evenly split among the trucks at each venue. So any excess is immediately discarded. And that's it. That's one round of the game. You're going to do that 5 times, and then the game ends. The player with the most money wins. Any unused action cards that you have, if you notice they have a little money symbol on the card, you get that many points for not using that action during the game. So again, you don't want to play a lot of actions that you're not going to spend because you're just throwing away money. And that's the basic game. There is a expansion that comes along with the game called the Daily Special. It's essentially a variant which allows you to fulfill special order sort of things. But I'll leave that up to you to discover if you're interested in the game. One thing I really like about it is just you pull out of the box and you go. And there's really not a whole lot of setup time. There's not a whole lot of downtime. You're doing all these actions are simultaneous, so you just pick and go, and you're kind of basically choosing like, where do I think other people are going to go, and then I put my truck down. The other thing is, because the dice are rolled after everybody places their trucks, there's not this whole lot of AP thinkies type stuff, because you're not trying to calculate who's going to go there because I know the 7 was rolled or whatever. In reality, we all know how D20s roll, so betting on the gaming con is not always a safe bet. You might roll low, and then everybody puts their trucks there, and you don't get much, whereas you might be the only person playing on the D8 and roll a 5 or 6, and you get $5. That's pretty strong. So you kind of have to do a little bit of thinking. Also, you have to decide, are playing these actions going to be worth it? Again, you don't have to play them if you put them face down, but you do have to discard it, so you're throwing away money. And because they're resolved one at a time going around the table, you might get to that point where playing the action card is superfluous because somebody has done something to your truck or whatever it might be. So it's a very quick game, very fun and silly, and it doesn't require a whole lot of concentration. So that's one of the reasons I absolutely loved it. It just is a social game, and I enjoy that sort of sit down with my friends and play game type of thing. So I'm really glad I picked it up, and I'm glad that you guys suggested that I go there and check it out. So that's Truck Off, which again I love. I had a blast. I had a blast with this. So thank you so much for making me or requesting me to go do this. It really was fun, and I had fun making this video. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope that it is beneficial to somebody. Maybe I just taught you how to play the game. That's neat. But thank you for watching. Thank you for being my friends. Thank you for always being here for me whenever I have crazy ideas like doing this sort of thing. And sticking with me to watch me do it. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey Doc, wait! I want to ask you something.
Today's random fact comes from Cancer Research UK. Can microwaves cause cancer? Most experts say that microwave ovens don't give off enough energy to damage the genetic material, DNA, in cells, so they can't cause cancer. Microwaves heat food but do not make any changes to it that aren't made in any other cooking method. Tell that to my mom.